Hello, can you hear me, please? Yeah, I think. Can I be heard, please? Hmm? Can I be heard, please? Can I be heard, please? All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the little technology glitch of the media team in house, actually, as well. So, how many people online now, please? All right. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for wasting your time tonight. Uh, for the past 7 minutes, we've been trying to fix up our technology, basically. But we are good to go right now. Henry, right? Please, can you close the door? All right. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another great edition of our Billions Dollar Weekly. Um, it's actually an interesting session where we get to talk, you know, um, deeply into sales strategies. We tend to do a deeper dive into strategies that work when it comes to selling, and in this case, selling real estate. So tonight we have an interesting topic at hand to treat, and it is simply the three F's of sales. The three F's of sales. I believe that everybody watching me tonight or hearing me tonight have their notepad ready to run with, because like I always say, there is no need, striving to acquire knowledge if there is no proper documentation of that knowledge for easy reference. So if you are not documenting the knowledge you're getting for easy reference, then it's as much as you're not actually, acquiring that knowledge. It's as much as you're wasting your time, because if you're not scribbling things down to nine, you could just well just go to sleep, because the human mind or the human brain doesn't have the capacity to retain all the information it's given um, per time at once. It doesn't have that capacity. No human person, no human mind has that capacity. You at most you can be able to retain greater percentage of the information you're giving, but majority of them are going to slip through, because that is how the human mind works. And how do you get your mind to a point where you begin to receive everything that you've been taught? Is by repetition, is by going back to your notes, repeating and relearning those things uh, for almost 3 to 4 times after the first time of being taught. So you must have your notebook, your phone note, or anything ready that you can use to scribble stuff tonight. Hope that makes sense. All right, so tonight we're looking at the three F's of sales. Very important and psychological topic that every salesperson, has to know. Like I always tell you, people, knowledge trainings are very, very much instructive. They are not suggestive, right? Everything you're being taught per time is for you to put to work. And if you have not put to work what you learned on Monday, then you don't have any justification to come learn this you're learning tonight, because you're not going to see get results. The idea is that when you learn something, you run with it immediately. You apply it, make the mistakes as early as possible, learn from that mistake so you can go on to the next level. Yeah, because if you keep learning and you're not practicing, you're not much more better than that person who is not actually even learning anything. Yeah, because knowledge is transient, knowledge is evolutionary. So, and if you're able to get a foundational knowledge about something, being able to evolve on that knowledge becomes easier, right? For example, we all know that before the emergence of digital cameras, there were the Kodaks of this world. So those people that get to learn how to use Kodak cameras then, when it was still very much manual, it wasn't hard for them to evolve into using a Canon or a Nikon, because they already have the foundational knowledge of how to use cameras. But guess what? Those people that just came into the scene and want to start using cameras needs to go through a rigorous training process that will take a longer time before they can be able to acclimatize to start using cameras. So it's important that you avail yourself the experiential knowledge of knowledge acquisition. What it means that when you acquire knowledge at the first instance, practice it, let it sink into your being, let it become part and parcel of you, so that if there's going to be a better knowledge or a version 2 or point 0 of that knowledge, it's not going to hit you so hard. It's going to settle on top of the basic or the base knowledge you already have about the subject matter. So everything you're being taught, both on our Monday roundtable sessions and on our Thursday Billion Corner Weekly, is for you to practice on. It's not for you to just note or learn or just come through and join the classes. For you to learn. So before I go straight into our training tonight, I would like to remind us some very important thing that we need to know about who we are as real estate consultants, as salespeople, as agents, as people that profile real estate investment solutions to our, teaming clients. There, I need to call our mind back to some things for so many of us who are not, who doesn't know, and for some of us who have forgotten. Number one is that as a real estate consultant, you are an entrepreneur. Let me repeat, as a real estate consultant, you are an entrepreneur, you're a business person. Yeah. It means that you should approach your business like you should approach your career as a business owner, not as an employee. Many of the people who are into sales today approach it as from an employee mindset, not as a business person mindset. So how do you actually know? How do you actually approach sales as a business person? It means that you need to have a plan. You need to have a plan about what you want to achieve as a salesperson. You need to have a plan. So if you started sales from a point of recommendation, probably your friend introduced you into sales, it's forgivable. But now that you're under my voice tonight, you should now know that you are in a business for real. You are not just in a thing, right? You're not just trying to, try out a certain kind of business idea or something that your friend recommended you to know. If you've been able to stay in sales for the past 1 month, it means that you really want to do this business. Now you need to begin to think like an entrepreneur. So as an entrepreneur, you need to plan. You need to have a business plan. You need to have a plan. How do you want this business to impact you? How do you want to grow this business from where you are to where you want it to be? You need to have a plan, right? Number two is that you need to also understand that you have to have targets, personal target. Number three is that you need to understand that this business must grow this business must grow beyond you. It must grow beyond you. Many real estate companies today start from a place of realtorship. So many of us started as realtors. Many business person today. In fact, there are agencies that are now full-blown businesses. Yeah, there are agencies that are full-blown businesses. But the sad thing is that it's only a handful of salespeople that actually charge themselves to that point where they begin to think like this. Because majority of us, see this career we have chosen as a passive element, and that's where we hurt ourselves the most. You need to begin to reshape your mindset about the business you've found yourself in from tonight. You as a realtor is an entrepreneur. You are a business person. And as such, you must know that you are starting a startup. Yes, you are starting a startup. And you can do your research. Having to start a startup is one of the most rigorous tasks or rigorous journeys anybody can embark on. And it's always worth it. What it means is that as you are starting a startup, there is some things that you need to deny yourself of, and there are so many things you need to sacrifice on. Let me repeat. Now that you understand that you are an entrepreneur as a salesperson, and that as long as you're starting from this level, you are a startup, you need to understand that you need to sacrifice on a lot of things, and you need to deny yourself a lot of things. That is one thing you need to understand. One of the things you must deny yourself is the concept of comfort. The concept of comfort is a false concept. It is not true. There is nothing as detrimental to the growth of a person or a business like the concept of comfort. You must be willing to sacrifice and deny yourself comfort. now that you are still starving. So how do you do this? Number one, you need to do the hardest task first. You must do the hardest things first. So what are the hardest things as a salesperson who now knows that he or she is running a business? Number one is that you need to become a people finder. You must become a people's friend person. You must be every morning is the hardest thing to do. Going to meet people, going to establish communication and establish relationship. That's the hardest thing to do as a salesperson. But you must do those things first because that's the foundation of every business. Remember, every business thrives on cash flow. Any business that is not having cash flow is more or less a dead business. So now that you know you're an entrepreneur, you need to sacrifice comfort. And one of the first comfort you must sacrifice is the concept of, you loving to keep to yourself. You must become a people's person. You must become a people's finder. Number two, um, number two thing you're going to sacrifice is your time. Is your time. Many people, many average people and poor people are people that have a lot of time on their hands. Let me repeat. Many average people and poor people are people that have a lot of time on their hand. I mean, I could afford to go lie down and sleep tonight and not have this training, but I'm going to lose a lot. I'm going to lose impacting you, and I'm going to lose making you become better. Yeah. So you need to know that you need to sacrifice time. Many of the average and poor people I know today are people that doesn't value the path of investing their time into what they are building, right? So tell me a business that's going to fail so fast. I will tell you a business that the founder or the owner of that business is not readily available to pilot the affairs of that business. So you must sacrifice your time. Number three things that you must sacrifice is your energy. I don't know why this generation of people we find ourselves are easily tired. I don't know why so. I don't know why we are always easy to say we are tired. That is actually very palpable. It's quite disgusting that you're young. Even if you're young, and of course, young I mean here is if you're from 18 to 40 years, you're young, because beyond that level, because within this age range, your body, your bones, and your mind can work in synergy. It means that your bone will want to do something, your flesh and everything will work. But beyond this stage, this age bracket, your mind might be willing, but your flesh and your bone is weak. So if you find yourself within this age bracket, you don't have any right to say you're tired when you have not gotten the job done. Please, you need to understand that you need to sacrifice energy now that you can, because a time is coming where you wouldn't even be able to lift, half of what you were able to lift now. So this is the third thing you must be willing to sacrifice on and be willing to deny yourself of, is the ability to invest your energy in this business. So what it means is this: you need to ask yourself, are you putting enough energy into this business you're building, or you're just living a normal, normal kind of life that every other person out, every average or poor person out there is living? Now you need to understand also. I want to digress a little bit. You need to come to a place of making up your mind that you don't want to be a poor person. Yeah, this will strike. You need to come to a point where you tell yourself that, see, me, Max, I don't want to, yes, I might be born poor, I might be coming from a poor background, but I don't want to die poor. I don't want to find myself next 10 years poor. I don't want to find myself next year poor. I don't want to find myself next 2 years poor. You need to come to that point where you make that self-declaration and you mean it. I'm not saying you should declare it and go and start praying, or you should go and start, doing affirmations. No, affirmations beautiful. They're amazing things to do. You can do affirmations every morning, but right after affirmation, pick yourself up and hit the road. Yeah. So many people actually do affirmations wrong. They do affirmations and they go back to bed. It doesn't work. Yeah. So you must come to a point where you tell yourself for real that you don't want to be poor next 3 months, next 6 months, because that's how business would reason. And immediately you've come to that point where you've told yourself that you don't want to be poor next 6 or 1 year or 3 months, what happens is that something happens with your mind. You begin to think strategy. You begin to think solution. You begin to you begin to think ideas. instead of wallowing in the valley of despair, where you find a lot of excuses, where you find people who always have problems, where you find people who always complain about the economy, where you find people who always complain about everything. Yeah, because those people have already resigned to becoming poor for life, and it's not even a cause. So if you're under the influence of my voice tonight and you're hearing me, I want you to make up your mind that you don't want to die poor. In fact, you don't want to enter 2025 as a poor person. And it has a lot to do with your mindset. And immediately you're able to give your mind a baptism, it reflects off your approach to your work. Yes, it reflects off your approach to your work. You become less beggarly, you become less pity party kind of person, you become less always you're looking down on the rest. No, you pick yourself up. Now, do you think that those people who are always excited to do work, or who are always excited to meet people, or who are always excited to jump on that next call, do you think they don't have problems? Do you think their own lives are all figured out? No. These are people that have made up their mind that come what may, they must succeed, despite all odds. You need to come to that point, because if you don't come to that point where you've made up your mind that you want to be rich, you want to be wealthy, everything I'm going to be saying or I have been teaching all these months wouldn't make sense to you, because it will still fall on deaf ears. Right, it will really, really, get you emotional and get you all pumped up for that moment I'm talking to you. But what happens is this: because your mind is the most powerful tool you possess as a human, immediately your mind is recharged at that moment, because you're already giving your subconscious self that resolution that you want to be poor, you are fine being average. Immediately you finish listening to any training, you go back to your valley of despair, and that is so bad. So, first of all, I just talked about that you're an entrepreneur, you're a business person, that you must be willing to plan, you must be willing to let go of comfort. Comfort is the greatest killer of destiny, it's the greatest killer of dreams. And I've also mentioned that you need to invest your time, your energy, you need to invest, into knowledge. So what you're doing here tonight is part of those ways you actually deny yourself comfort, is by investing in knowledge, which is very profound. You need to prioritize and learn how to invest in knowledge for yourself, because nothing, no true development, no true personal growth happens outside of knowledge acquisition. Not No true growth happens outside there. The only thing you could see at best is physical growth. You begin to grow white beards, you begin to get older in physically, but that doesn't really equate to wisdom. That doesn't really equate to knowledge. It doesn't equate to growth, true growth, because what actually shows that you're growing is your level economically, spiritually, and psychologically. So what happens? How do people get impacted financially when they meet you? How do people truly get impacted psychologically when they meet you? How do people truly get impacted, spiritually when they meet you? These are the indices that define if you're truly progressing, if you are truly growing as a human being or not, right? So you must prioritize these three things for your business to grow. So that is very much important. Hope that makes sense. So having said that, we now go straight into our training tonight. The three F's of sales. The three F's of sales. Now, many people are good at meeting people. Many salespeople I know are good at meeting people, whereas many I know are not actually very much comfortable meeting people. That's a discussion for another day. But we're talking about people who are good at meeting people. Of course, if you're a salesperson, you must be somebody who is excellently well in meeting people. You must be a people's person. You must know how to strike up conversations with people. You must learn how to compliment people. You must learn how to get people to remember you even after meeting you for the first time, because of the kind of personality you are building. Yeah, you must be somebody who is very much attractive to people. So when somebody meets you, they want to meet you again. They want to meet you again because of the kind of things the kind of aura you carry, because of the kind of words you put out, because of the kind of information you divulge to people, the kind of conversations you have with people. You must be people's person. So these three L's is for people who are actually people's person. Number one is follow up. The first F is follow up, right? Follow up. But before I go a little bit into that, I need to buttress on something. selling high ticket product is actually one of the best ways to build yourself and build your economy. But why many people don't really find headsway on in it is because they think that they they are going to sell off a property of 5 million the way they're going to sell off a commodity of 10,000. So many times than not, they find themselves in the rat race of they are meeting enough people, but they're not closing enough deals because they are approaching a high ticket product as real estate the same way they would have approached a commodity of 10,000 naira, and that is flawed. That is pretty flawed. It's highly flawed. Now, having said that, follow up, right? Follow up simply means reaching out to people for the first time. That is follow up, reaching out to people. So, as a real estate consultant who is an entrepreneur, you must become somebody who wants to meet as many people as possible on a daily basis. Let me repeat, you must be someone who is willing to meet as many people as possible on a daily basis. Like I always tell them here, when you wake up in the morning as a salesperson, what truly stands out to you as your key activity for the day? What really stands out for you as the true activity for the day? I always tell people that, see, the first thing that should stand out for you as the key activity for the day is your sales activities. That should form 60 to 70% of the activities in a day. But unfortunately, many of you, even those watching me tonight and listening to me, if you truly go back and reassess your activities for the day, you will notice that the least activity you give attention to daily is even sales activities. You give less time to calling, you give less time to sending emails, you give less time to sending SMSs, and you wonder why your sales are the way it is because you're not good at following up. So following up simply means meeting as many people as possible in a day. Is one the first F of sales. And remember, like I always tell us, we're in the business of building relationships, not in the business of sales. So it's the more people you meet that your probability of getting more people to build relationship with increases. Honestly, you want to make sure that you're in the business of opening up new channels of communication with new people every day. This is a daily activity in the life of a real estate consultant. This is also the how the activity of a business owner is. So as a business person, every day I'm thinking, how do I meet? How do I get to talk to more people? How do I get to reach more people? How do I get to get more people to know about me and that I sell real estate? That in fact I'm the best real estate salesperson in town. How do I get to do that? That is what makes up my majority of my activity daily. And that is what makes up majority of the daily activities of the 20% of the best salespeople in the world. The remaining 80% of the whack salespeople in the world are people who are not persuaded to make sales activities majority of their activities in a day. So you must be somebody who is always opening up new communication channels every day with new people. You must be a follow-up person. That's the first F of every sales. The second F is follow through. Follow through. This is where many people get it wrong. So I said something earlier. I said that many people think that the way they will sell a 10,000 commodities, the way they will sell a 5 million naira property or 20 million naira property is a lie. The secret juice lies in following through. Are you willing to follow through the sales process? Are you willing to follow through the next 3 months on a particular prospect? Are you willing to follow through on this prospect for the next 1 year? Are you willing to follow through this prospect for the next 3 years? Are you willing? Are you ready? As a business person, you should be, but as someone who is not a business person, you mustn't be. And it's not even, it's a fact. As a business person and somebody who is in business, you must be willing to follow through a prospect who is promising or who has told you, or who has not even told you, but you know he can buy property. Your job is to follow through that person until the point the person buys from you, whether it's 1 week or 1 year, whether it's 3 months or 3 years. Your job is to keep following up. And that is where organization comes in because many salespeople don't even know that in business, of documentation. The thing that the company they affiliate with, for example, here, the Win Realty that you affiliate, we think it is our job to just keep documentation of your client. Sorry. Yes, we are condemned to keep documentation, fine. But what about you? You're also in business. Do you have a proper journal where you actually, put down, feedback from the last feedback you got from that prospect? Is there any place you wrote it down that you can easily refer back to in the next 1 day or 1 week? Do you have such? How organized it is? So many people argue that they have it. Having it is not a thing. How organized it is? Is it? Is it the same journal that you use to do your church notes? Is it the same journal you're using to document your sales activities? That's not being serious. That's not being serious, right? I'll recommend Excel sheets. I recommend Google Sheets. They are free tools to use. You could use it, painstakingly do them. That is work. See, let me reiterate it. Let me repeat. The, the best 20% salespersons in the world do these things I'm telling you that I'm talking about tonight. Whereas the remaining 80% don't do it. And there's no magic about it. If I have my documentations all cleaned out and it's well arranged, I'm going to close more deals on you because I can refer back to somebody I met last year March and get his or final feedback and call the person. I could refer back to as far back as 3 years ago because I have a proper documented, report sheet on these people and go back and call these people. These were people that said they were not ready last 3 years to buy from me, probably because they were not in a financial position to, or they had other projects they were having at that point, so they couldn't buy from me. Now, what about 3 years after? But because many of us don't have proper journaling, we don't have cleaned out, report sheet, we lose out on a lot of sales. We lose out on following through prospect. We lose out on a lot of sales. And like I was telling them the other day, I was saying that find yourself in a position where you do the work for another realtor. Don't find yourself in a position where you do the work for another person to reap. For example, you prime a prospect, you prime the prospect, you market the prospect, you warm up this prospect from being cold to being warm. Right at the point of the prospect to turn hot, you withdraw because it's looking like it's not being lengthy. The time in between to convert this client is looking like it's becoming longer. You get discouraged and you leave this prospect. Just at that point, another realtor that doesn't even know the amount of work you've put in, we just made these prospects and do 1 or 2 days talk and close out this prospect, this sale, and enjoy his or commission. And you have done majority of the work because you refused to follow through. So the second F is following through. It requires a lot of discipline, but you must. You must. I cannot even overemphasize the importance of this is the biggest F on the 3 Fs. I cannot even overemphasize the importance of following through your prospect, making sure you follow through. And the good thing is that there's no end to following through. Even after a prospect has bought from you, it will not take you to the last F. So you now notice that you must understand that every client that buys from you haven't stopped buying from you, shouldn't even stop buying from you. In fact, it is even easier. For example, as a company, last month, we were looking at our numbers last month. We had more returning clients than new clients last month. I mean, at the corporate level, we had more returning clients than new clients last month. So you can imagine the power of what the last F I'm going to talk about now. So the last F is follow back. Follow back is the last F. Follow back. Follow back is the last F. So what is follow back? Follow back simply means going back to those people that you've done business with in time past. That's what follow back is. So all those people that have bought from you, this is the time you have to go back to them, right? Open up another conversation with them, eulogize these people, visit them, bearing gift, open up those new conversation lines, tell them about the new offers you have on ground. If there are new anniversaries in their lives, congratulate them, apologize for missing out on most of the anniversaries. Do what you must do to follow back with the people you've done business with, because like I always tell you guys, right, the cost of a returning client or a referral is always cheaper than the cost of acquiring a new client. The cost of a referral or a returning client is always cheaper than the cost of a entirely new client. So you must go and follow back those people that you've done business with. It's important. Every great salesman on earth today understands this 3F concept, and they make it form majority of their daily activities. So when you tell me that you have called all your leads, I mean, that means you don't understand the principle of the 3Fs. You can't stop talking to your leads. These are the people that have the money you're looking for. These are your destiny changers. These are people that will turn your life around. Majority of your life should be focused on these people. Yes, the idea is to make enough money so you can buy time and live the life you want. Except you want to keep living from hand to mouth. Except you want to you keep running this rat race. But for the first 10, 15 years of your life in purpose, you must dedicate it more into money making, activities, into your sales activities. After then the remaining years of your life, you can live it in Bahamas, live it in Puerto Rico, and live it anywhere around the world, except you don't want to enjoy that kind of life. But for me, my family, and people that are following me, we want to live this kind of life. This is the kind of life we are pursuing. We might not be there yet, but we are putting in the work. We are putting in these whole things we know already. We are putting it to work, knowing fully well that it's leading us somewhere right. Of course. So these are the 3 F's of sales. Yeah, these are the 3 F's of sales: follow up, follow through, and follow back. Very, very much important, and it's as straightforward as it is. Now, when you begin to break it down, for example, follow up, follow through, you begin to break follow through down into pieces. You begin to look at the different channels by which you can effectively follow through your prospect or your client. You can follow through your prospect physically or virtually or anyhow. Follow through simply means you occasionally bump into them in their office environments, at parties, at anywhere. Just make sure you are top of the mind all the time. Just make sure that you're always in their mind. Anyhow, make sure you're always in their mind. Always make sure that you are posting relevant stuff on your stories, on your Facebook pages. Don't make sure that you are consistent about it. Just make sure that you are consistent. I've been posting about real estate for the past 7, 8 years. Every day. Every day. Every day. So what is not telling you that you need to, some days you don't need to post, some days you need to post? Who gave you that demonic strategy? If not the devil himself. So please, you need to understand that these are the 3 F's of follow up. Now I have a bonus, before I leave, I have a bonus, point to give you tonight. And people that know me too will know that whenever I talk to you, I always emphasize on this, right? I always emphasize on it. So we all have both claims. Many of us have set target. We want to, buy a house, buy a car, make 100 million, make 20 million. Both bogus claims. But like I always tell people, when you make a bogus claim, always find a way to break it down into actionable milestones, actionable touch points. So for example, you are a realtor, you want to make 100 million in commission. You should now ask yourself, how can this be possible? How can I be able to make this? And the first way to begin this process is what you're doing here tonight: knowledge acquisition. Now, many realtors I know, and no wonder many of them are poor, no wonder many of them are not making headway, because they are poor knowledge acquisition. They are poor putting themselves in situations where they will learn from someone. They think that sales is waking up in the morning and just going to meet people and talking to people. So there's some set of my team that we enrolled in a specialized training, and their mind is already getting boggled because of the kind of things they are hearing. Now, those kind of information they are hearing are classified. They are actually dispensed at the place of learning like this, and this is one of it. What you're learning here tonight is one of it. So you must come to a point where you become voracious about knowledge acquisition. You should be looking out. You should always be looking out for the next thing to learn about your craft. You should always be looking out for the next thing to add to what you already know about the business you're running, because that's the only way you can have that unfair advantage in the marketplace. because we are all in the same industry seeking for the same clients. Yes, we are all here in Port Harcourt. Now, for those of you who are under my voice tonight, you guys are not the only realtors in Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt has more than 10,000 realtors currently, yes, and it's growing more than. And we are all, pushing through for the same prospects. So for you to have the unfair advantage in the marketplace, it must be somebody who has equipped his or her mind with enough, a lot of knowledge, not a lot of knowledge. There's nothing like enough knowledge. A lot of it. It means that it's progressive. You must keep stuffing your mind with more knowledge, right? So that is exactly what I have for us tonight. I don't want to keep us, I don't want to overshoot our session tonight because I know that we started quite late. Not really, but I mean, so that is basically my lesson tonight. I hope this blessed us. I hope this blessed us. I hope that we are going to apply the 3 F's of sales tonight. I mean, going forward, I hope we are going to make it part of our strategy. So you must go learn about how to follow up truly. So this, whenever I come here to train us every day, these things are things you can research for yourself online. These things are things you can research yourself online. These are not strategies that we are discovered by me or something. These are strategies that are open source. They're open source. You can dive deeper to learn how you can be able to maximize the concept of follow up, follow through, and follow back. You must go back to understand how to maximize it. In as much as I've been able to lay foundational knowledge, which is also very much valuable to run with, but you must go back and drill yourself more and more until it becomes personal, until it becomes part of you. Hope that makes sense. So thank you once again for joining us tonight. If you have any question, you can ask on the comment section so I can answer it from now till 10 p.m. I mean, for the next 5 minutes, I will be answering some questions. If you learned something very much interesting, I see many of you here studying what you're already learning, right? So, all right. So, I believe please share this link to your fellow realtors, right? Share this link to your fellow realtors. Let them come and watch it later. It's going to bless them. It's going to help them also. So, thank you once again for joining us tonight for our Billions Corner Weekly. Our Billions Corner Weekly is sponsored or put together by the Win Realty Limited, your choice real estate company here in the city of Port Harcourt. So if you have any real estate need here in the city of Port Harcourt, the company to run to for such need is the Win Realty Limited. We've been in business for almost 3 years now, with combined years of experience of almost 10 years. So we are well grounded in this industry. We are not newbies. Yeah. So Win Realty is this Billions Corner Weekly is put together by Win Realty and Win Academy, which is the educational arm of the group, of the Win Group Holdings. This is simply to help equip our realtors, real estate consultants with the appropriate knowledge they will need to thrive and to make it fast in the marketplace, knowing fully well that the market of selling real estate is becoming very much polarized in this part of the world. So we try to prime and to, prune our people to become better and become more finesse with their strategies and with their approach right there in the marketplace. So if you must sell real estate also, we encourage you to join our Win Associates program, where we actually have, very much tailored trainings like this that we reel out every now and then, every Monday and every Thursday to help equip you. We want to hold you by the hand and show you the starting terrain of selling real estate that abound here in River State and beyond, in Nigeria as a whole. We want to hold you by the hand and pilot you through this terrain so you don't get to make the same mistakes that many of us made when we started up without enough mentorship on our part. So always join us every Monday by 10 a.m. Here on YouTube or on site, our headquarters, or on Thursdays by 9 p.m. like this, where we also take you on a journey that you will enjoy. Thank you once again and have a pleasant night rest ahead. God bless you.